Here's an interview from one of our past shows on Rock and Metal Revival. If you're interested in hearing full shows, go to our Facebook page and check out our list of affiliates for times and places where you can hear Rock and Metal Revival. All right, that's new music from Shadow and the Thrill. It's called Sugar Bowl right here on Rock and Metal Revival. Dude,
nice little bluesy groove. Digging that, man.
I'm digging it. I really am. I love the guitar work on there. And we want to welcome Tony-Montana to the show, to Rock and Metal Revival. Welcome to the show, Tony.
Oh, man, so good to be here, guys. Thank you so much.
Hey, we're really digging what we've heard from Shadow and the Thrill. Tell us a little bit about this project.
Well, gosh, I had a collection of songs that I've been sitting on for a while, and I got to a point where I just felt like it was important to really take them to the next level and to really put them down for whatever reason, for my own selfish reasons, really. And I thought, who would I want to work with? And Brent Arcement is a guy that I've worked on and off in California with over the years, and he just is probably one of my favorite drummers of all time that I've ever seen in my life, quite frankly. And I thought, that's the guy. He is a resident of New Orleans, and so I guess I packed up my bags and I was off to New Orleans. Walking to New Orleans.
Nice.
Well, once I started digging into your bio and I started reading all the things that you'd played on, I hadn't realized how many times that I'd actually seen you play live between Great White and with Jack Russell and even Slash. I mean, your career you've played with some pretty big heavyweights, and it's good to actually see you get out and sing and be out front.
I really had to make that a real conscious decision after a lot of years of being away from music. I took about at least 10 years where I just kind of really wasn't very active. And once I did start getting busy again, I really looked to a lot of my old friends to kind of rediscover, who I was. And the truth is that I've always played guitar, bass, piano. I play a bunch of stuff, and I've always been, I've always sung too. So I reached out to guys like like Rudy Sarzo and Fred Coury, Dee Snider, and I got a chance to work with Slash, and it had been forever since I'd seen him, and then of course to get back with Jack and really go out and crank out the old hits, man.
Yeah.
That was a real turning point for me as well.
Now, speaking of Jack Russell's Great White and the album he put out, He Saw It Coming. Dude, your guitar work on there is amazing. I was like, this was the bass player. This was the guy laying down the thump, 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 thump. And now all of a sudden he's like, this bumblebee. Yeah. And I'm like, holy cow, where'd that come from?
Yeah, actually, a lot of that is I will say this. I didn't really get to play a whole lot on the album. I was, for whatever reason, I did write, or was a co-writer, and brought in the riff for what ended up being the lead single off the album, which is "Sign of the Times."
Sign of the Time, yeah.
Cool
riff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's actually it's a good song. It's kind of a poignant thing for Jack, and that it made a lot of sense. And, so yeah, we've had some fun, but most of the time on the road is when we go out and play live is when I get to stretch out a little bit as a player and as a singer too. Jack's very generous, and he always provides a couple of points in the set where he just hands the mic over and lets me, knock out a tune.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, with Shadow and the Thrill, do you plan on, Tony, taking that act on the road at all, or is this just a thing for you to get some of those songs that you always wanted out?
We've already done a bunch of shows. We've done some support shows with Quiet Riot and Lita Ford and Jefferson Starship, Vince Neil. We've gone out and played some headlining dates as well, and I expect to do more of that this year for sure. I will be going over to Europe this year in the UK, possibly South America. And I basically we just look for those little holes in my touring schedule with Jack, and then I go fill those up, and I go out and get my yah-yahs out.
Nice. So speaking of Jack, now when we had him on the show, he said you recorded another Led Zeppelin tribute kind of cover thing. Were you involved in that? And
no, I was not. I had other commitments, and so they used some other cats to do some of that work. But I know that the other thing that we're doing with Jack is a all acoustic rendition of the Once Bitten album. So that should be out pretty soon.
Ooh.
On Cleopatra. That turned out really great, and that's something I was a lot more, I was involved with a little more intimately. And then it looks like Cleopatra, that same label, will be re-releasing my first solo record, which was Tombstone Shuffle.
Ooh.
And that should be out. That should be out, I would think, by March. So I'm really looking forward to that too. There's a couple little gems on that album as well.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, Tony, you've had an impressive list of albums and artists that you played on, along with your own stuff. Where's a good place for people actually to find out and listen to more of your music at? Because I'm really getting into it from these two songs that we've been sent. I'd like to hear more.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. This, obviously, we have shadowandthethrill.com, where people can pick up the actual Sugar Bowl is available through there as CD, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. You can grab some of the singles off there, or you can stream the album. I'm thinking that Facebook has been such a constant in our lives now, and that is primarily where I think most of our videos have gotten the most exposure through Shadow and the Thrill on Facebook. So, obviously go out there and check that out. I'm on there as like a musician guy too. So, but all those most of the video singles that we've done for Shadow and the Thrill were released there first. We've done Shake the Devil, which is the Tommy Bolin cover, not on the album, but a super cool, groovy tune that he did in the 70s.
Sweet.
The lead-off single was Misery, and we did a lyric video for a song called Love Song, which is off Sugar Bowl as well. And Sugar Bowl itself, the title track, was the latest video that we did, and actually that we got featured in a contest for Classic Rock magazine, which is kind of a big UK magazine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They threw us up there on Track of the Week, and we were put up against a bunch of other bands, some major label bands and guys that had hundreds of thousands of followers, and we actually won that latest thing. So
Nice.
we feel invigorated. You know what I mean? We feel a little validated that that it's a good track, and I think people are really going to like the next one that we come out with, which is our cover of Gnarls Barkley's "Crazy." And in a blues version of that, which is pretty, I gotta say, it's my favorite track on the album.
Sweet. One of my favorite tracks is the one we're going to play here, the Just Enough. Now, I got one question about it. You think it could have used some cowbell? I think at the beginning especially could have had some cowbell in there. Not perfectly timed, of course.
Dude, if we come out and play, then you're coming up and you're going to be the featured cowbell solo.
All right. Sweet. Sweet.
All right. That'd be awesome. Well, like I said, Tony, we love what we've heard from Shadow and the Thrill. We're looking forward to hearing more. And like Jerry said, we're going to play this song Just Enough. Can you tell us a little bit about this tune? Is there something special about it?
Well, I think it's probably the more aggressive songs on the album, and it was one of the last ones that we did. And God, this one's a lot of fun to play live. It's just a lot of fun, and it's the lyrics are what they are. I'll let people interpret them, and make their own come to their own conclusions, basically. But this one is one of the more fun ones we get to play live, so I'm excited about hearing it.
All right, well, this is Shadow and the Thrill. The song is called Just Enough, and Tony Montana, you're always welcome here on Rock and Metal Revival.
Thanks, guys. I'll be back.